Hi everyone. So with news that Microsoft is issuing a price cut for the Xbox One in the United Kingdom to £329, we now have to consider, is this Microsoft's great fight back? As we all know, the sales of the Xbox One around the world have simply not been good enough, being outsold in most cases 2-1 by Sony. This got even worse during the Destiny launch, where sales were 3-1 to Sony. All in all, this creates a dangerous precedent for Microsoft. They're not used to being this far behind in anything they really do, certainly not in the consumer stakes anyway. Now, a lot of retailers have been discounting to this $329 price point for a couple of weeks now, trying to clear out inventory. Obviously, if you've got the retailers sat there with old bundled boxes of Titanfall and games like that, you need to get rid of those out of the supply chain as quickly as possible because they're costing everybody money right now. The price drop has now been made official, and this is very much Microsoft's big drive towards the holiday season. We know Sunset Overdrive, Forza Horizon 2 and the Halo Anniversary Collection are all being tipped by Microsoft to be console shifters, but so far a price drop alone is not going to swing things, I don't think. As Forbes asked recently, is Sony going to dominate this generation of games consoles? I think they probably are now. Microsoft has a perception problem. The perception among gamers is the Xbox One is not a good games console, and so when offered the choice, even when the price had hit parity, people were still buying the PlayStation 4. In part this is because they already have a groundswell of gamers, and if your friends own a PlayStation 4, you're going to buy a PlayStation 4. I think a £20 price cut is not really going to do it. It's not going to offer enough incentive. From a games perspective, this is where Microsoft could turn a few heads. Certainly Sunset Overdrive looks fantastic, if a little bit samey. Where Forza Horizon 2, certainly the demo so far that we've played, is fantastic, and it's a game that I'm going to be very interested in when it gets released. It appears to hit the nail on the head perfectly, far better so far than The Crew has. And then there's the Halo Anniversary Collection, which I'm told on the grapevine is not a title that Microsoft expects to sell consoles. Really, this is a service for the fan base, and they don't expect it to be the one that is going to drive people to buy Xbox One consoles. The simple reason is because a lot of people have played this content before. Yes, you're getting 4 games in one bundle, but only one of those has kind of been upscaled, and that offered really poor single-player story in my opinion, but great multiplayer. Kind of obvious where Microsoft is going with this one. Multiplayer, multiplayer, multiplayer. But there is no expectation at retailers that it is going to sell consoles. Simple as that. For Microsoft now, it's all about the catch-up, and I'm afraid I don't believe that they're going to put it off this Christmas. The slate of games that they have coming out for the Christmas period versus what Sony have. Sony may have the weaker lineup, but they have the groundswell of support. When it comes down to it, and a parent says to their kids, which console do you want for Christmas, they're going to say, the same ones my friends have. And unfortunately, by odds, that is going to be a Sony console. Effectively, Microsoft has to do something quite spectacular now to slow Sony down, or Sony has to screw up quite spectacularly to give Microsoft an edge. All in all, it's just not looking good for Microsoft over this next couple of years. Like I say, price cuts are going to do nothing if perception is still against your console. That's what they have to turn around. They've got to get people to understand that the Xbox is a great console. It is a great media device. It offers functionality and features that Sony does not offer, but in many respects Microsoft has now thrown away the cool features, the USPs, the unique selling points of the Xbox One in favour of copying Sony's version of marketing, which is focusing on the gamers. Microsoft's own inability to grasp what is brilliant about their console is causing them to lose market share. How crazy is that? What Microsoft really needs to do is to demonstrate fantastic gaming with fantastic media support, with the way the TV aspects work here, even with the way Kinect can fit into that lifestyle choice as well. What they're doing is attempting to show that they have great games, but great games on a console your friends are not playing on does not matter one iota. What people care about is where are their friends playing. This is so important in the world where we use multiplayer as the primary driver of selling games these days. Great, you've got single player, but what's the multiplayer like? That's what I'll spend most of my time on. And that's an area right now Sony is winning hearts and minds all over the place. They might not have the best lineup of games, but they've done the best job at showing gamers what they can do with it. Microsoft, on the other hand, is attempting to show gamers what they can do with their console, but keeps coming up short with either resolution drops or frame rate drops. It's just not hanging together, and in many respects Microsoft needs to go back, reevaluate what the Xbox One is, and start explaining it to people properly. It's a lifestyle choice, and one that once you make and fold into your life is actually quite compelling. Especially when we start getting some decent first-party games coming through. Forza Horizon 2, for instance, you start to see the promise of the Xbox One and where it could actually take on and challenge the PlayStation 4. But it's not going to happen until Microsoft gets its confidence back, I think, in many respects. Thanks for watching. Do please subscribe to us on YouTube and Twitch, and please like and comment on these videos as well. We love to chat.